Welcome class to another day of story problems. We're setting up systems of equations and then solving these word problems using those systems. So getting more practice at this. Henry is 9 more than 3 times as old as Sophia. In 20 years the sum of their ages will be 105. How old is Henry now? Well, once again, you see these sentences in English. Let's change them into mathematical sentences. So here's this blue sentence. Henry equals 9 more than 3 times as old as Sophia. I'm going to have an S with a little dash through it so we know that's a letter and not a number. So that's 3 times Sophia. So there's our first sentence. Our red sentence now, in 20 years the sum of their ages will be 105. So in 20 years, how old is Henry? Well, he's H plus 20. Whatever Henry was in the blue sentence, he's now 20 years older. Same thing as Sophia. How old is she now? She is S plus 20. So it says in 20 years, I've taken care of that, the sum of their ages, so adding their 2 ages, will be, that's another way of saying equals, will be is another way of saying equals, so equals 105. So now we solve this system of equations, finding out how old Henry is. Well, I know Henry is 9 plus 3 times Sophia. So this H right here is 9 plus 3 times S. So that's what we're going to solve. 9 plus 3S plus 20 plus S plus 20 equals 105. 3S plus 1S is 4S. 20 plus 20 plus 9 is 49. So 4S plus 49 equals 105. Subtract 49 from both sides and we get 56. So 4S equals 56. And finally dividing both sides by 4, Sophia is 14. Sophia is 14 years old, so how old is Henry? Well, Henry is 9 plus 3 times Sophia. So finding out Henry equals 9 plus 3 times Sophia, and Sophia is 14. So 3 times 14 plus 9, we get Henry as being 51 years old. 51 years. So that's one of those questions where you have to practice changing the English sentence into a math sentence and then solving. Here's another one very similar to that. Why don't you guys pause the video and try this one on your own. The perimeter of a rectangle is 68 feet. The length is 2 feet less than 3 times the width. Find the length and the width of the rectangle. One thing that kind of helps me here, I guess, is if I draw a picture of a rectangle. Now if I see that the perimeter of the rectangle is 68, so if I add up all the sides I get 68, and the length is 2 feet less than 3 times the width. So the length equals 2 feet less than 3 times the width. So here's 3 times the width, and then you subtract 2. 2 feet less than 3 times the width. So if this is my length, okay, I would have like length, length, width, width, except I don't need to write L anymore. I'm going to substitute in what I know L equals. L, the length, equals 2 feet less than 3 times the width. So the length equals this, which is 3W minus 2. This is 3W minus 2. So now I know that all 4 of these sides together, when I add them up, that's what perimeter means, is 68 feet. So 3W minus 2 plus W plus 3W minus 2 plus W, when I add up all 4 of those sides, it gives me 68. So let's solve for W now. Let's find the width. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 W's. A negative 2 and a negative 2 makes a negative 4. That equals 68. 8W now equals 72. Divide both sides by 8. The width is now 9. And our units are in feet. Yes. Width is 9 feet. So if we know the width is 9 feet, let's go back to our directions. It says find the length and the width. So we found the width. Good work. Now let's find the length. The length is 3W minus 2. So the length is 3 times the width of 9 minus 2. 3 times 9 is 27, and 27 minus 2 is 25. There's your length, and there's your width. Hopefully you did okay on that one, trying that one on your own. Here we have 2 brands of candy were mixed in a 10-pound gift box costing $14.55. Brand X cost $1.50 per pound, and brand Y cost $1.35 per pound. How many pounds of each brand were in the gift box? Well, if we think about this, 2 brands of candy were mixed in a 10-pound gift box. So I know that the candy is X and Y. So X, however many pounds that is, and Y, when they were mixed, we got ourselves a 10-pound gift box. Maybe there was 3 pounds of X and 7 pounds of Y to get 10. We don't know. We just know that the 2 candies together, when you add them up, equals 10 pounds. So now if we know that X, brand X candy, was $1.50, and brand Y was $1.35, if there was 1 pound of X, that's $1.50. If there's 2 pounds of X, that's $3. If there's 3 pounds of X, now there's $4.50. So what we're doing is whatever X is, we're multiplying it by $1.50. So if we think about this for a second, I don't know how many pounds of X we have, but however many pounds we have, I'm going to multiply it by $1.50. So $1.50 times X plus $1.35 multiplied by Y, that is going to get me the total cost of my candy, which is $14.55. So there's my 2 systems of equations. The 2 candies together add up to equal 10 pounds, and we know that the total cost is $14.55 if it's $1.50 for brand X and $1.35 for brand Y. So now that we have this system of equations, let's now solve for it. I'm going to make this, I'm going to solve using substitution. I'm going to make this to equal X equals 10 minus Y. That way I could easily subtract a Y to get X all by itself, and now this part right here I can substitute in for this X. So as we solve, we get 1.5 multiplied by 10 minus Y plus $1.35 times Y. That equals $14.55. We're going to end up getting a lot of decimals with this one, but that's alright. We can just put all of it in our calculator as we multiply. So 1.5 times 10 is 15 minus 1.5y plus 1.35y equals 14.55. So now we are going to subtract 15 to get it onto this side. Combine like terms on the left, so negative 1.5y plus 1.35y is a negative 1.5y. A negative 0.15y. That equals 14.55 minus 15 is a negative 0.45. Alright, almost done. Divide both sides by a negative 0.15. And we get y to equal 3. So what did you find here? There is 3 pounds of brand Y candy. So here's brand Y. We got 3 pounds of it. So now this becomes very simple. How many pounds of X must there be? Well, we know it's a 10-pound bag. So if we have 3 pounds of brand Y, that means X has to be 7 pounds. And there's your answer for that one. If you ever see this one on a test, it might be very valuable to check to make sure that it equals $14.55. Just take your 7 pounds of X candy, multiply it by $1.50. Take your 3 pounds of Y candy, multiply it by $1.35. When you add up those two prices, you should get $14.55. Now let's be honest here, if you were to give me a gift basket of 2 different candies, it would obviously be Snickers and 100 Grand because those are my 2 favorite candies. If you guys wanted to go on a gift basket to get me, you would just have to spend $14.55 to get me these 2 different brands of delicious, delicious candy bars. So if you wanted to get me a gift, I'm not saying you have to, but if you wanted to, there you have it. Simple, 2 different candies, $14.55. Make it happen if you want to. All right. On to our next one, number 4. Paul has $2.80 in nickels and dimes. He has 14 more nickels than dimes. How many of each coin does he have? Well, if he has $2.80 in nickels and dimes, that means when I add up the nickels plus the dimes, I'm going to have $2.80. But if I have like 3 nickels, now that's 15 cents. If I have 4 dimes, that gets me 40 cents, and so on and so forth. So, very similar to our last one, the nickels, we're going to multiply 5 cents by however many nickels we have. And because we're in dollars over here, let's put it into the relationship of dollars. However many nickels we have, we're going to multiply it by 5 cents, or 0.05. In the same way, if we have 8 dimes, 8 times 10 cents is 80 cents. 12 dimes, 12 times 10 is 120 cents, or $1.20, so on and so forth. We're just going to multiply by the number of dimes we have. So 0.10 or 0.1 D. These two together, when we add them, will equal $2.80. So that's that first equation. The second equation is he has 14 more nickels than he has dimes. So if he has, let's just say for example, if he has 1 dime, he has 14 more nickels, so then he would have 15 nickels. Let's say he has 3 dimes, well he has 14 more nickels, so 14 plus 3, he would have 17 nickels, so on and so forth. So the amount of nickels he has, he would have to take his dimes and add 14. However many nickels he has, however many dimes he has, he adds that to 14 and gets the amount of nickels. So n equals 14 plus the dimes, or dimes plus 14. So these are your 2 equations. Let's now solve. So I already have n solved for, so let's just put this right into here. So we have 0.05 multiplied by n plus 0.1. Rats! Sorry about that, class. We're not going to put this in for D, we put that in for N. Sorry about that, I'm sure you guys noticed that before I did. So we're going to put this into here. There we are. So 0.05 multiplied by D plus 14 plus 0.1 D, that equals $2.80. Alright, now let's solve. So we have 0.05 D. 0.05 times 14 is going to be 0.7 plus 0.1 D equals 280. So 0.1 plus 0.05 is 0.15 D, and I'm going to subtract this 0.7 to get it over here, and we end up with 2.1. Okay, and finally, dividing both sides by 0.15, we would get 2.1 divided by 0.15, dimes equals 14. So he has 14 dimes. Let's take a look at the question. it says how many of each coin does he have. So if he has 14 dimes, let's find out how many nickels he has. Well, we know that he has 14 more nickels than he has dimes. So however many dimes he has, let's just add 14 to it, which is this equation right here. We know that there are 14 dimes, so 14 plus the 14 then that comes from right here, nickels is 28. 28 nickels. And there's the answer for that one. And just like the last one, if you want to check it, it wouldn't be very difficult. You would just take, the number of nickels, multiply by 5 cents, the number of dimes, multiply by 10 cents, add those two up, and you should get $2.80. Pretty simple checking. Number 5, this one kind of slips up some people on every single year that we do this problem. It is kind of tricky at first, but the more repetition you get at this, the easier it gets. Tom equals 6 times as old as Todd. So because they both start with T, I'm just going to write out the whole word. Tom equals 6 times as old as Todd. So 6 times Todd. In 6 years, Tom's age will be 26 more than 2 times as old as Todd. Woofta! That's quite a sentence. Let's break that down. In 6 years, so now let's look at both of our people here. Tom will be 6 years older, and Todd will also be 6 years older. So let's add 6 to both of them. So now here's Tom's age, and here's Todd's age. So Tom's age will be means equals, will be 26 more than 2 times as old as Todd. Well, here's Todd's age, so 2 times Todd's age is like that, and then it's 26 more than that. So add 26 here at the end. It's 26 more than 2 times Todd. Okay, so hopefully those two make sense to you. Now you simply solve the equation. If Tom equals 6 Todd, then this Tom equals 6 Todd. So let's solve. 6 Todd plus 6 equals, distributing, 2 Todd plus 12 plus 26. Combine like terms, subtract 2 Todd. And we get 4 Todd over here. This together makes 38. So now if we subtract 6, we get 32. How old is Todd? Divide both sides by 4. Todd is 8 years old. There's our Todd. Let's hop back up here. How old is Todd? Bam, we figured it out. If it said how old is Tom, well, Tom is 6 times Todd. So if we had to find Tom, it would be 6 times Todd, I believe. Yes. So 6 times 8, so that would be 48 years old. That would be if you wanted to find Tom. So make sure you pay attention to that as you do your homework. Woo! Last one. I hope you're not fried yet. Let's try this last one. Why don't you guys pause the video, actually, try this one on your own and see how you do, and then check your work with mine at the end. So dimes and quarters contains a total of 46 coins. So in this one, we don't need to know the value of a dime and a quarter. We just need to know that there's 46 coins. They're made up of dimes and quarters. So dimes plus quarters is 46 coins. The value of all of the coins in the jar is $8.65. So now we got to say, well, however many dimes he has, we multiply that by 0.1, which is 10 cents. Plus the total number of quarters he has, which is 25 cents, so 0.25 times the quarters. When we add up all of those coins, we get $8.65. How many quarters are there in the jar? So we want to solve 4 quarters. So I'm going to get Q over here by subtracting it. So now this equation becomes dimes equals 46 minus quarters. And I'm going to substitute this right in there. So 0.1 times dimes, which dimes is now 46 minus Q, plus 0.25 Q equals 865. Distributing that 0.1, we would get 4.6 minus 0.1 Q plus 0.25 Q equals 8.65. Let's see here. Let's combine our Q's together. So negative 0.1 Q plus 0.25 Q becomes 0.15 Q. 0.15 Q. Subtract 4.6 to get it over here, and you get 4.05. And lastly, dividing by 0.15, 4.05 divided by 0.15 is going to be 27. So quarters, how many are there? There are 27 of them. Going back up to the top, we were supposed to find quarters, so we are all done. Again, if you had to find dimes, well, you know that they add up to equal 46, so you could just take 46 minus your quarters. I went through this lesson relatively quickly, I would say, as far as how many problems there were. If there's some confusion, by all means, ask someone in class, ask myself. I would love to help you out and give you further instruction on how to do these. Please ask me if there's any trouble on any one of these problems, and I'd love to help you out.